Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Kai Veil channel. You already know what to do. Subscribe, share the channel, the videos, everything else. This is a video from China Deep Dive. Shout out to them. Just like everywhere else in the world, everybody's struggling with housing, especially in first world nations like the United States, China. I don't know what's going on with Australia, but definitely the UK is on this one too as well, because have you noticed that the new type of ownership of residence is like a luxury condo?
This is the condo I bought in Guangzhou for more than $500,000. The price has been falling. It's 120 square meters with 3 bedrooms and 2 living rooms.
Wow.
Now the down payment is basically gone. Okay, the price has been falling and the decline is quite stable. Housing prices in China's capital, Beijing, used to be extremely high, but they have now fallen to unimaginable levels.
Can you imagine living like that? Now, this all originated in New York. Everybody lived in high rises, but now everything's high rise everything. So who does this benefit? Well, it benefits young people, right? Because everybody likes views, the luxury, the flooring and everything. You just like those large display windows. It's nice. Let a lot of natural sunlight in. I'm pretty sure these buildings are very green efficient, green energy. Natural light means less LED lights and everything that you have to use. So living in the building is kind of nice though. Kind of like a sense of like a resort type of life, but it's not for everybody. Some people like to have their own yard and backyards. Then, they could do their green thumb stuff, plant trees, plants,
Among the residential housing types in China's metropolitan areas, very few houses exist. The vast majority are condos or apartments. In China, the property rights of houses and condos are 70 years, and the property rights of apartments are 40 years. No one knows who will own these properties 40 or 70 years from now.
The question is, will these buildings still even be standing by then? They have to be retrofitted and everything, because all it takes is a big earthquake to knock all these buildings down. And that's where they're building all these luxury condos and apartments, on earthquake territories. China's known for earthquakes. Japan's known for earthquakes. I believe just about every first world country is prone to earthquakes, including the UK and Australia, even though you don't really hear a lot about them having earthquakes, but I believe they're on the plate too, if I'm not mistaken. But it's mainly China and United States and Japan, which are prone to large earthquakes usually.
Crazy. The real estate market in Beijing has gone completely crazy. The first to go crazy were the developers. To reduce inventory and quickly recover funds, the developers really started a bloody sale. There is such a property next to Dashing Metro Line 4 with a down payment of only $26,143.
Only. Did he really say only? The average person can't even... That's almost what the average person makes a year in America after taxes, deductions. Yeah, maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I'll bump it up to I'll say maybe 35 to 40,000 after tax deductions, which is not a lot of money. I mean, 26,000, you can't even get a car with that. That's just how sad things are. The average taken out for a loan for a car now is 40K. 26,000, that's half of a down payment. You still owe about another 30,000 for the car.
You can buy a regular 2-bedroom condo, and $45,406 can buy a 3-bedroom condo. Moreover, it's ready-to-move-in condo owned by a state-owned enterprise. Yes, you heard it right. It's a ready-to-move-in condo, and it's fully furnished. What's even more incredible is that it's a property in the subway area. There is no doubt that this is not an apartment but a condo with a genuine 70-year property ownership right. 8th to 11th floors, 1 elevator for 2 households, fully furnished, ready for moving in. You can really move in right away.
Now this is really convenient, especially for somebody that doesn't like to buy their own furniture and haul their furniture from place to place. Let's say you move every 2 to 3 years, which most people in apartments do when they go from apartment to apartment. Usually they live in one apartment for a few years and then go to the next. But a lot of times you don't want to keep bringing the same thing from one apartment to another. You want to start fresh. So this is convenient. So this means less trips back and forth to the new place when you're ready to move.
It takes 5 minutes to get to Longhu Paradise Walk from the community, 5 minutes to walk to the subway station, and 30 minutes to get to the Beijing South Railway Station.
30分钟直达北京南站。
Buying a condo in Beijing resulted in a loss of $138,000 in 1 year.
And you know, this lady looks like somebody I rented from a few years ago, but then I broke the lease like a few days right after I signed it. I didn't even move into the place because I've noticed tons of problems, including mildew. But yeah, that's interesting though. That's a lot of money in 1 year.
And that's the one who suffers the smallest loss. Really?
我一个朋友
A friend of mine bought a condo in Wangjing in 2021. He bought the property for
Look at that chandelier. Sheesh.
$1.1 million with a down payment of $440,000. His monthly mortgage payment is about $3,852. Now he can only sell it for $826,000. Really?
光这个房子他就亏了200万。
Well, he lost $275,000 on this property alone, and the interest for the past 3 or 4 years must have been about $80,000 or $90,000. This means the money he had saved for 5 years was instantly reduced to zero. All these years have been in vain. If he sold the condo now, after paying off the mortgage, he wouldn't even have $138,000 left.
What?
He is under so much pressure now that he dares not resign.
就大得很，根本都不敢辞职。
House prices continued to plummet, and those owners who had already paid their deposits became panicked and went to the site collectively shouting, "Cancel the purchase."
Here's the thing. This is why it's a bad idea to pay off a home in cash. Because you don't get a chance, because it's like whenever you sell it, it's already paid off. Most likely, you're not going to get what you paid for it. Let's say you paid $2 million for the place. You might only get $800,000 out of the deal if you want to sell it.
Cancel, cancel. There is a reason why the owners are panicked, and this blogger says the answer.
主要呀，还是这个房产啊跌得。
The main reason is that the property price has fallen too sharply. Many people worked hard using 6 wallets to pay the down payment, but they lost huge money all in 1 or 2 years. Even if you sell your new home, it may not be enough to pay off the mortgage.
房子卖了，可能还都不够还房贷。
6 wallets refers to a situation where, for a couple, 2 of them add the 4 wallets of their parents. Those persons who were once financially good are now worried.
深圳龙华顶级豪宅金茂
The owners of Jinmao Mansion, a top luxury residence in Longhua, Shenzhen, have suffered huge losses. Miss Guo bought a 185 square meter condo at the opening price of $2.876 million. The down payment was $863,000, plus the deed tax and maintenance fund was about $89,435.
And you ask where they getting all this money from? Family. Yeah, a lot of these people don't have money saved up like that. Their parents had money saved up for them and helped them out because they got married or had a child. Things like that. So don't assume that people have all these savings, because people are still a paycheck away from being out on the street.
She took out a total of $952,000 and borrowed $2.04 million with an interest rate of 5.1% for 30 years, with a monthly payment of $10,925.
Keep in mind, the average person barely makes $3,000 a month. Where the hell do you get $1,100 a month just for the mortgage alone? We all know this doesn't include utilities, water, sewage, things like that. And yes, when you live in these places, just about everybody has washer and dryer hookups, because you're not gonna, yeah.
Her main business is beauty and cosmetics wholesale, which has not been very profitable in the past 2 years.
Wow.
Although the new energy project she invested in has a bright future, it has not yet made a profit. It's very difficult to maintain life nowadays, and the pressure of the mortgage is really unbearable. She chose to stop paying the mortgage in March this year. She is very worried that her only living space will be auctioned off at half price, leaving the whole family homeless and becoming a court defaulter.
流离失所，成为失信人。
As housing prices plummet, many homeowners have no choice but to stop paying their mortgages under heavy pressure, and the number of foreclosed properties in many parts of China has increased.
再这么跌下去啊，
If housing prices continue to fall like this, many families in Foshan City will really go bankrupt. At present, at least 1/4 of the families in Foshan are actually bankrupt, and their debts far exceed the little assets they have. All this is because they bought homes at a high price in Foshan in the past few years. I don't know if you have noticed a lot of terrible things happening now. That is, more and more condos are being auctioned off by law in Foshan, including old properties worth tens of thousands of dollars and luxury homes worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. People have had problems with their jobs, and businessmen have encountered changes, and now they can no longer repay their loans.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem right now with all the layoffs and everything, and the tariffs don't help either. So it's going to be a lot of people in this situation. And then we all know that a lot of tech people in tech, they're job hoppers. So you know they don't have any pensions with these jobs. So a lot of organizations are getting away with not offering pensions anymore. I mean, you have the 401k, but that's pretty much standard now. But there's penalties when you take out money from your 401k, but then a lot of these people aren't going to work these jobs long enough to have any money in their 401k to begin with. So picture that.
Even if they sell their homes, paying back the bank is still not enough. There are many people on the internet who are still laughing at those who bought condos at high prices in the past few years. But I can't laugh at all because I know that most of them are not gamblers, nor do they want to speculate in real estate. They just want to do their best to have a home. So what's wrong? Should people have to pay for the rest of their lives for this mistake of just one home purchase?
难道买错一套房就非得要搭进去一辈子吗？
Well asked. This question should be asked to the Chinese Communist government that always claims to serve the people. In this wave of real estate speculation, governments at all levels have made a fortune. When house prices have been rising, government officials and banks benefit most. When house prices have fallen, it leaves only ordinary people to bear the consequences.
And see, keep in mind, when everything jumps up in price like that, inflation, the banks are more picky about who they give the loans to. So you basically have to have like a high credit score to qualify for the loan to begin with. Otherwise, they're going to start asking for co-signers and everything, which a lot of people need, especially if this is their first time borrowing a lot of money. Big loans like that, more than likely you're going to need a co-signer, even if you do have a high credit score. That's just how the way it goes. That's the bank's way of knowing that they can have some kind of security in case you fall off, which most likely you will fall off if you have a high mortgage and it's just you.
I spent $500,000 or $600,000 to buy a condo in Suzhou. I couldn't sell it even at 60% off the price.
What?
After over 5 months, the price dropped from $413,000 to around $350,000. Now the price has plummeted to $272,000, and there are still no potential customers to view the property. Just yesterday, the agent suddenly said that a client came to see the condo, but the client only offered $261,000. I checked the mortgage and found a remaining $268,000 debt. In other words, after selling the condo and paying off the loan, I would only have $6,880 left. Not only will our $103,000 down payment go down the drain, but we also have to pay an additional $9,632 in agency fees.
And those of you that haven't owned their first home yet, don't worry about it. Because renting is better than being out on the street, right? Don't be ashamed to be a renter. You buy when you're ready. As you can see, it's never a good time to buy. Some people rent for convenience. Some people rent because they don't see themselves in an area long term. So it's like everybody's situation is different, but yet we live in an environment where everybody's telling somebody what to do. When at the end of the day, if you don't pay the rent or the mortgage, you have to get out. So how do you get around that? You was almost done paying off your property, but you started missing payments. Defaulted on the loan, now you have to leave. Back to renting.
I thought this was bad enough, but I didn't expect this customer to turn around to buy another one in our community with the same layout, but the price was $13,761 cheaper.
Wow.
Oh my god, are houses really so cheap nowadays? The falling housing prices in Hangzhou have caused homeowners to complain bitterly. By the way, new homes selling in China are usually unfurnished.
And take a look at this. What's wrong with this picture? There's not a lot around the surrounding area other than the buildings itself. It looks like a lot of trees and parks, a lot of views to look at. But what's in the local neighborhood, like far as markets, places to shop, places to chill out at, you know, transportation, subways and all that, like all that stuff has to be near, like large corporations where people could pretty much be close to work. That's the whole goal of living like this, is to be close to work where you don't have to go far out, like you see in the city in the background of those condos. That looks pretty far out to everything else. So, I mean, it doesn't look that far. It's drivable. It might even be bikeable, but it's all about what's in the surrounding area, how the walkability score. So, let's say you lived in a mixed zone with a bunch of commercial and industrial buildings. It's going to be harder to sell those places because people want to be next to hospitals, shopping malls, and all that kind of stuff. Amusement parks.
That is, they have no finishing, including no floors or carpets, unpainted walls, no kitchen appliances, and no bathroom facilities, etc.
I can't believe what I just heard. So it's like moving into a jail cell. No appliances? Well, I mean, if you're buying the place, I can understand that. But if this is a homeowners association or if this is owned by the state, they should provide some kind of energy efficient appliances, right? Yeah, that's just kind of weird, but okay. I could understand the appliances, but not putting flooring down. Why? What part of the game is that?
听我说，我现在特别后悔在杭州买房。
I really regret buying a condo in Hangzhou now. It has seriously affected my life. To be honest, if I hadn't done it yet, I would definitely not buy a home in Hangzhou. This was told to me by a person who has worked in Hangzhou for more than 10 years. He said that he had been in Hangzhou for more than 10 years and finally saved up enough for a down payment to buy a condo in River East, but the price dropped badly. Together with miscellaneous taxes, agency fees, and finishes, this condo cost almost $316,000, and the monthly payment alone was more than $1,000. The down payment for this property was borrowed from various sources, including $20,000 borrowing from a friend. He originally wanted to make a good plan after moving in and paying back his friend's money first. As a result, 3 years after the pandemic, business has been impossible to run. Now, let alone repaying the debt, it's even more difficult to maintain normal expenses, especially in the past 2 years when housing prices have plummeted. A few days ago, a condo of the same type in our community was sold for only $206,000, which is equal to the seller's down payment has...
I mean, shit, you can't even get prices for those condos where I live at. And I live in California in the East Bay. You're not getting a condo for $200,000. If you do, it's probably not going to have a roof on it. Probably not going to have no electrician where...
It's gone in vain. My family members complain every day saying, "We are so old and we are still helping you pay off the debt. We told you not to buy a property, but you insisted. Now you can't pay it back even if you borrowed money and you have a wife and children to support."
Ooh-wee. That's a reason to jump off of a bridge. Hopefully he doesn't do that, but self-deletion is your last resort. Self-deletion is no option. There has to be a way around that. Even if you have to sleep in the car for a few weeks or maybe in a few months, but damn. I mean, family can only do so much. The older generation doesn't want to give all their money to the young ones. And so that's 3 problems. He has a mortgage he can't afford. He has a wife and a child. 3 liabilities. If he has a car, that's 4 liabilities. I hope the car is paid off at least. So that's 1 less headache.
I have lived in the condo for less than 3 years and I have lost over $96,000. The pressure is really great.
I
就
bet.
亏了70来万，压力是真的大。
我今年32岁了，背负了100万的房贷。
I am 32 years old and have a mortgage of $138,000. It's becoming increasingly difficult to repay the mortgage. I bought a condo on impulse in 2018 with a loan. Now my monthly payment is close to $800.
Shit, that used to be rent. That used to be rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in the Bay Area. Let alone Los Angeles too. But now, Whatever apartment you was paying $800 for back in 2005, that same apartment is over 2,000 easily. So it's like, what happened? We need to bring back $800 a month rent and cheap places to get Chinese food, at least. Because there used to be a lot of spots in the East Bay. Those of you that reside in the East Bay, especially if you in Oakland or somewhere, or Hayward, there's tons of Chinese and Korean joints where you could get food for like under $10, a whole meal for under $10. Life was good back 15, 20 years ago, but now that's never coming back. And I think I'm gonna wrap it up right here. I hope you enjoyed this. This is Kai LaVale once more. Don't forget to share this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and check your boy out on Instagram. Peace.